Hey guys, thanks for watching. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about the Chu 2. A lot of this is going to be more informal than I usually do it, just because I need to be more efficient with the way that I'm creating these videos, so I hope this works for you. First, we're going to do the unboxing, so you'll now see on the screen everything that this includes. You'll see that the package is pretty bare bones. I mean, this is a $20 set, but one of the main upgrades that you get off the first gen, the metal casing is very similar to it, but you get a detachable cable, which is nice, and just in general, a little bit better build quality. Instead of it all being, built into the unit, you get a separation there, and the hooks aren't bad. Feel a little bit better than what you get usually with like a cheap CCA set, but not as nice as you would get on something like a $50 set, but perfectly usable cables. The tips I found to be pretty useless. For me, I don't know if everybody else's ears are this way, but on my ears, if I put ones like this in there, and I don't know if it's just because they're not, or my ear canals are too big, but when I put these in, they just slide right out. So unless the IEM is designed perfectly to just kind of cup it in there, I almost always am losing fidelity that way, and I'd caution you guys to be careful about that as well, that when you get these, try pushing in on your ear just a little bit, and if you're hearing a much better bass response, not like shoving it, but just enough to like make sure that you're getting a good seal. If you do that and you're hearing more bass, either try bigger sets of tips that come with these, or get some good tips. If you're a kind of person that has more than one or two set of IEMs, if you're not on the strictest of budgets, I know that the spin fits are kind of expensive, but they last forever if you take care of them. You can get 3 sets for, I think it's about 20 American dollars. I'm sure if you buy it on AliExpress or something, I mean, be careful of counterfeits, but you probably do better there. And they make almost every single pair of IEMs I have sound better. So if you've got 5 sets IEMs and you're still using stock tips, I think your next investment, it's not the sexiest thing, but once you get them, you'll like them, is a good set of tips. And the reason for that is that instead of it feeling like this cheap plastic that's just kind of slide, or silicone or whatever it is, sliding in and out, like the spin fits have this actual tacky kind of feel to it that sticks into your ears. It creates this great connection with your ear that basically makes it so that not only do you not hear as much around you, but it feels much more secure in there, and you're going to get a much tighter bass and less outside noise, which helps with treble and all. Anyway, it's a good idea. So anyway, I had to use spin fits when I listened to this. Also, my first impression was, so I used this with a Schiit Magni, and it sounded great. It sounded very clear, very crisp, but it was kind of painful to listen to. So the upper ranges were very clean and clear, but they sounded harsh at the same time, if that makes sense. So that made these amazing for like when I was doing video editing with them, like very good clarity, very good detail, like probably as good as any headphones or better than I have for editing audio. They did a great job for that. But in terms of just enjoying the listenability of it, what I found was that if I ran this through some hardware EQ, what I wanted to do was to bring up a few dB-ish in the lower ranges, which it could support just fine. You can put more bass through these and they don't fall apart. It sounds good. They're just not tuned that way. And then to bring up or bring down the higher mid-range sounds so that it sounded more smooth. And what was interesting though is that after I tested it all on the Schiit Magni and, or the hardware EQ using the low key or whatever it's called, I then tried it on an Apple dongle, and I will tell you, if you've tried these and you've got a nice setup, for whatever reason, I can't ever remember another set that was like this, but for these, I don't know if it's just more power, makes it more shrill, but these feel like they're tuned to actually have lower amounts of power go through them, because, and I tried this a few times just to make sure it wasn't placebo on different days, these sound much more warm and inviting and clear, not clear, warm and inviting, slightly less soundstaged, slightly less detail, but much nicer to listen to if you don't use them with a nice amp. And I tried that with both, forget what I tried. I tried it with multiple things that had more power. And what I found is that the dongle by far worked the best. I think I plugged it directly into the MacBook even. That sounded a little bit harsh. I think I used it through the Mix amp on my Xbox, and that gives you a little bit more of that sharpness, as well as I used it on the Magni, which I talked about, and all those seem to give it that, like, it's like, wow, this is really nice and detailed, but it's not fun to listen to. for whatever reason, with the American version of the Apple dongle with this, I got more warmth, I got less painful high end, slightly less separation, slightly less detail, but very well worth it, because all of a sudden now, as long as I was using the SpinFits, I could just listen to these all day and it sounded great. So for what it's worth, if you got these and you've only tried them on a nice amp, try it on some cheap, like if you don't have an Apple dongle, there's no excuse for you. If you can afford a $100 amp, but you don't have a $10 Apple dongle, no excuse, just go buy one and try it and let me know what you think. Okay, so let's talk about some specific sounds. On Hotel California, when I was using it at the lowest power settings on the Magni, it sounded really good. Now, medium and higher ones, it did not. But what I realized later was that when I put it on low, I had knocked in some hardware EQ. So that's actually not true whatsoever. I went back and tested all of it through the Magni, and no matter what, the upper mid-range sounds, anything from like really screaming guitars to like when somebody hits a high note, just doesn't sound very good. Then when I used the Apple dongle on it, sounded great. Again, you trade that upper mid-range harshness, which includes some detail, for a little bit warmer, a little bit less detail. So specifically, I think Hotel California is a great song to test this stuff with, and for me, it proved out what I heard on a bunch of other songs. Okay, now how about versus the Chu Gen 1? So I listened to the Chu Gen 1 again to compare it. The new one has richer, fuller sound on Blues Traveler's hook. So that's one of the songs I listened to, not because it's a perfect audiophile song, but just it's one of those songs that I've heard a million times. And when you listen to that song, it's pretty obvious that there's a fullness, a richness, more bass with the new set, and the old set doesn't have anything to counterbalance that. It's not like it's a lot more clear or crisp. It actually has a slightly metallic sound and kind of a flatter, less rich sound. So I'd say in every way, in any situation, I would take the Chu Gen 2 over the Gen 1 in terms of just audio quality. I don't think it's even comparable. It sounds so much better. Okay, now let's talk about how it sounds in comparison to probably my favorite under $20 set, and that is the Zero Gen 1, the 7 Hz Zero Gen 1. So I would say that these complement each other. So if you look at like the HBB $20 set, I think it's the Con, like super bassy. That's really nice if you're a bass head and you don't care about a lot of detail and stuff on the higher end. Like if you're a hip hop head, that would probably be the one to get. On the other end of things, you've got the 7 Hz Zero Gen 1, which gives you that dimension. It gives you that soundstage. It gives you that imaging. It gives you separation. It gives you detail. But the trade-off for that is you get a slight amount of harshness. It's not super fatiguing, but there's a little bit of it. And slightly metallic sounding that you won't hear when you're listening to it by itself. But if you listen to it back and forth with another set, you'll hear how it sounds less rich, less full, and a little bit more harsh and slightly tinny metallic. But it's one of those things you only see when you're going back and forth to something like the Chu Gen 2 that is more warm and inviting. So I'd say if you just had to buy one set, unless you really like detail a lot, I'd probably buy the Chu Gen 2. I would. I would buy it because it's going to give you a good balance between nice bass, richness, warmth, all those things, as well as enough detail to make it usable in almost anything. It's a really good all-around set, and it does pretty well for gaming still. Again, more left, right, middle than I would like, but not terrible on it. It's just a little bit more that way than I would like, but I think it needs to do that. And it does that to balance out all the different ranges. It really feels like they put effort into making sure that this would be good for everything. It's a really well-designed product. I see why it's selling as much on Amazon now as it is, and it's something I would heartily recommend. I even listened to it against some higher-end sets. Like I was thinking, oh, I'll listen to it against the Heart Mirror Zero, which is a more detailed set. I listened to the Heart Mirror Zero. I also listened to the LAN, and I think things have come a long way in a short period of time, and I think the tuning on this is really, really good. I don't think that you can go wrong with a set. I think you would really enjoy it, but just know it's more of an all-arounder. If you're a super bass head, then go with the HBB probably. And if you like a lot of detail, you're going to use this specifically for gaming, and you like to really hear every little piece and part of your music and where it is, then I would probably go with the 0 Gen 1. But this is a great set. Definitely go with it. I would definitely go with this over the Gen 1 any day of the week. And I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys got something out of this. If I can help with anything else, let me know. Please keep giving me suggestions. I'm just kind of getting caught up on IEMs now and doing reviews on pretty inexpensive sets. Basically that's kind of my wheelhouse, just because I do have some nicer sets, but I want to compare them to the lower end ones and find where we can get the best value on the low end. And honestly, unless people start sending me these things, it's just too expensive to buy $50-$100 sets all the time. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, any thoughts about it, please let me know. Please give me some suggestions for what to check out next, and hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Have a great day.